Hey, Shad here with Speed Addicts, the fast growing gear site on the web, and today we're gonna uncrate the Suomy S1-XR GP. What's up, Speed Addicts fan? Before we get into the new top flight helmet from the folks over at Suomy, do us a favor. Subscribe to the Speed Addicts channel, stay up to date, get educated on the latest parts and gear. You're gonna make great buying decisions if you do that, and it helps us out too. Also, if you're gonna shop for gear online, do it at Speed Addicts. There's a link in the description below. They'll take you right over to the complete selection of the Suomy S1-XR GP. That is a mouthful. I had to practice that, okay? Head over to Speed Addicts, buy your next helmet with us. We got gear, boots, you name it, parts, accessories, everything for your next two-wheel adventure. We also have 90-day return policy, rewards, and free return shipping, so we make it real easy to shop online. And the last thing, my last shameless plug, is the new Superstore here in Orange County, California. If you are in SoCal, come check out the world's most epic helmet wall. Get fitted in person by experts. We've got other gear, parts, and e-bikes. Come check it out. It is pretty awesome. Okay. Speaking of awesomeness, we have a new helmet from Suomy. It is the S1-XR GP. This is the latest in their lineup of racing helmets. This is a hardcore racing helmet. It is light, it is slippery, and is replacing the SR GP, which has been out for a while now. So the SR GP over here on my right, this one actually got retired from their athletes about 2 years ago. So we are late in getting the newer helmet, here in the United States, okay? And at the moment that I'm making this video for you, my favorite customers and viewers, at the moment we're making this video, the only one available is the Pecco, this limited edition, numbered limited edition. We only got, I think, 100 or 200 in the United States. Speed Addicts bought about 50 of those, so get them while you can. Once they're gone, they're gone. The world's fastest man at the moment. Maybe. We'll see how this season ends up, and there is the numbered. I think this is like 903 out of 1,100 or something like that. Okay? You got the drift. So we're replacing the SRGP. This helmet is still going to be made as the SRGP Evo. It'll be at a lower price point. It's pretty common. Manufacturers want to get some more mileage out of those molds and keep producing helmets. But we'll set this aside. So actually, sorry, we'll keep this in the picture for a minute because they do look a little similar, right? Some of the same styling cues, but what they've done is they've made the newer helmet slipperier, a bit lighter. I think it fits better. And so we're excited. The full lineup of the S1 XR GP helmets is coming soon. We're gonna have solid colors and a bunch of new graphics, so hang tight if you want this helmet. More are coming soon, and I'm making this video. This is Q4 of 2024, okay? So this helmet is going to sell for the solid. We'll go for right around 700, usually 656 at Speed Addicts. Usually Suomy's about 10% off at speedaddicts.com. And then the graphics are gonna run in the $800 to $900 price range. And by the way, this helmet is going to be FIM. This one has the FIM hologram as well as DOT and EC2206. So it's got all the good stuff. One other thing I wanted to mention to you. This thing has an aggressive design. You see how it rocks back and forth just because of the shape of the shell. If you're not aware, Suomy and KYT are owned by the same parent company, and for all intents and purposes, are produced at the same factory. In fact, some of the models are directly crossing over. Okay, so this is the K1X or KX1. KX1, sorry, I messed that up. This is the KX1. This is the new S1 XR GP. You could forgive me for the alphabet soup going through my brain. You notice that these look a lot alike. They have the same visor, the same visor mechanism. Well, in fact, the whole thing is the same. So the shields crossover. You will have the same experience in both helmets. They're both FIM, DOT, EC2203. They're both real kick-ass. And we're going to make KYT their own video here in a minute, but just wanted to let you know they are the same thing if you look at them online and go, hey, are those the same helmet? Or if you've seen them in MotoGP and gone, hey, is that the same thing? Well, it is. Okay, let's get into it. This thing is killing me. By the way, the designer from the AGV team who came up with the Pista was stolen by the Suomy KYT company, and that's where you see kind of those same cues, that real aggressive. This is essentially like, a little bird told me, essentially kind of inspired by, or perhaps could have been, the Pista, version 2.0 or something like that. So I really love the shape. It is beautiful. The lines on it are great. We've got like these stingray vents up at the top, and there's a lot to talk about. Let's talk about the shell construction first. So Suomy is known for their tri-carboco shell. This is carbon, Kevlar, fiberglass. I know a lot of people think they need or want a full carbon fiber shell. Bear with me, this thing's gonna move around, okay? Just deal with it. People think they want a full carbon fiber shell, when in fact, pure carbon fiber shells are not as tunable for the rigidity, and they can end up a bit too stiff for motorcycle applications. So using a 3-part composite with the aramid, the carbon, the glass is usually the way to do it. Now, they have saved weight. It is about 3 ounces lighter than the old SR-GP. If I haven't confused you yet, this is the older helmet, okay? That's the SR-GP. So we're saving weight. It's actually going to be a fair bit faster in the straights. I think, 2 kilometers an hour is what they're claiming on the straights, because they've made it more slippery in the air, okay? I'm not going to try to say slipperier. That would be too difficult. So the SRGP did come in a little heavy on the scales at like 3.5 pounds. Now, these longer GP style helmets, see how long it is? Like the X15, the Pista, the Suomis, the KYT helmets, these long format top speed helmets, these things tend to not be the lightest helmet. Suomi's made lighter helmets before, but when you're trying to elongate things and you have air diffusers and that sort of stuff, it does add a little bit of weight, even though it is a very lightweight construction. So the new S1-XR GP is lighter than the old Suomy SRGP by about 3 ounces, depending on which size. So this one's just north of 3 pounds, whereas the old one was about 3.5 pounds. So we like that. Like I told you before, it is DOT, it is ECE 2206, and it is FIM. The FIM, if you're wondering, is that little hologram right there. You can see it. Pretty sweet. So in terms of safety standards, this helmet is up to the latest and greatest. I hear there's an FIM 2 coming at some point in the future. We'll see about that. But right now, this has got it all. So if you're at the track, even track or street, you're worried about safety, they've got the protection in this helmet. Intermediate oval head shape. So it's not too round, it's not too oval, it's somewhere in the middle. It fits most of the folks here who have intermediate oval heads without any issue. The other thing we notice, it's a little bit more forgiving in the crown than the older helmet. This helmet just tended to fit a little harder and a little tighter up in the crown, whereas this is a more kind of just slightly more forgiving. It's still a racing helmet, still feels like a racing helmet, but it's not quite as heavy in the crown area. So they're only using 3 shells instead of, I think they use 4 for this one. So they're cutting back on the amount of shells they're using. You have extra small through to extra large. Don't change your size. If you've worn a Suomi before, stick with that size. It's going to run true to size, and the head shape should be agreeable with you. We do have different size cheek pads. When you're fitting a helmet like this, it's very important, I told you it was going to move, to get the helmet to fit as tight as you can without causing pain or discomfort. If you want to focus, and you want to focus on the crown, to do so, I recommend removing those cheek pads once you get this helmet and just focusing on the crown if you're not sure. Once you're sure you have the right crown and thus the right shell here, then you can worry about the cheek pads. Put the cheek pads in. You want them to squish you, feel tight. The helmet's going to break in a little bit. If you're not sure, talk to the rider support team here at Speed Addicts, get some expert advice, or just bring the helmet into Speed Addicts Superstore here in Orange County. Okay, so that is the fit. This helmet is meant for the track. That doesn't mean you can't use it on the street, but it does have a more aggressive eye port angle. It's most at home in that sport or tucked riding position. It is a massive eye port, great peripheral vision. So this is a racing weapon right here. In terms of the wind tussle testing, it is extensive. They work closely with Bagnaia and other athletes on the Suomi and KYT roster. So there's been a lot of feedback over the last few years to produce a helmet this slippery and this that fits this well and performs in those extreme MotoGP conditions. Okay, let's talk about the ventilation. So I mentioned before, it's kind of that stingray look on the top. It's kind of hard to see, even like kind of stealth ventilation up here. But you do have the forehead or crown vent, and then the stingrays, and then here in the chin bar here. So these ones down low are switchable from the inside. So they got a little slider here, which is cool. So you can shut these down. Same up top. I would have to say that these switches on these helmets in terms of the vents are a little bit low tech and feel a little on the cheap side. Now, on racing helmets, sometimes they'll do that. They just want to keep the weight down. So this isn't like a quality thing. This is them trying to make the lightest little switch they can. In fact, like on the AGVP stuff, they don't even have shutters at all on their intake, so you can't shut it down at all. It comes with these weird little plugs. Okay, so at least they give you that versatility. I know a lot of our customers are wearing this on the street, and they are going to want to shut the vents. Same up here. They are a little puny when it comes to the stingray vents up on the top to open and close those. And then on the back, we have passive air exhaust on the rear that's going to extract all that hot, moist air out of the helmet. Helmet ventilates great. That won't be a problem for you. The EPS is channeled, so we're going to get lots of airflow in this thing. In terms of noise, everyone asks, oh, how noisy is the helmet? Well, helmet noise is very subjective. Racing helmets like this that flow a lot of air tend to not be the quietest helmets. I can make some recommendation if getting the quietest helmet is what you're after. Probably not in the racing category, okay? Stability is going to be excellent. I can't wait to send this out to the track with our team test pilot to put it up against the X15. At the moment, we don't have that direct comparison, but stay tuned on the Speed Addicts channel for our versus video where we put this one in the KYT up against some of the top tier stuff out there. The visor is awesome. Few reasons. Number one, the way it attaches to the helmet. This pivot kit is so elegantly designed. And by elegant, I mean it's not overcomplicated with a bunch of springs and gears and bullshit. It's going to just take one little pull and then the whole thing comes out. Whoops, there you go. Just like that. So it's got this red pull tab, which is going to allow you to just drop that right out of there. There it goes. Do you see any gears or stuff that's going to explode? No, that hasn't always been the case with Suomi. Sometimes they overcomplicated things or just downright had poor design with their pivot kits or shield mechanisms. This is the best one they've ever made. And when I go to put that back in, open position, you just pull down on that trigger and push it down and you're back in business. And the detents are nice and stiff. Okay, they should promote whoever came up with this design. The shield mechanisms are tough in the business because everybody tries to patent theirs and then sue each other. And so it's not easy to reinvent this wheel every time they come out with a helmet. But you see how much force that's taking. You do get a bunch of nice detents. That's another thing that is conspicuously missing from a lot of racing helmets. Okay, they don't design the helmets for the street, and so they go, why do we need to have it halfway open or closed? Well, street riders like to be able to have a demist setting, get a little bit of airflow, or cruise around in a semi-open position to promote airflow when they're cruising around slow. And then the other thing that's badass on this helmet is this dagger style metal lock, okay? So it's gonna get a real positive lock. It is not cheesy plastic. Even this little fin part that sticks out is all metal. It is spring loaded. You're gonna press that in, lift it up, and it is sturdy. Whenever I see these two-piece, or when you actually have the moving parts on the shield, I get nervous because I've seen them go wrong before, especially when they're plastic. But this one works quite well and has held up to our manipulation thus far. Okay, so we like the face shield. It is sturdy. The face shields on the KYT cross over to the Suomi and vice versa for this model of helmet. And there should be iridium options as well as the smoke, no photochromic that I'm aware of at this point. And then you're going to get a pin lock insert in the box. Here you go. They're going to include that for the money. So that is your fog mitigation system there. If fog is an issue for you, you're going to want to use that to create a dual pane lens. It installs on the inside of the face shield. Now, you also have these big knobs on the outside of the face shield. If you're not familiar, that is for a tear-off setup, like the motocross style films. Well, you can use those road racing as well, or even out on the street, should you choose to, but don't litter, put them in your pocket, come on. Okay, so you can put the tear-off posts on this. So this is what they would call like a race prep shield, because it's ready to accept those tear-offs. Now, these will be in your peripheries a bit, albeit far in the back, but some people, go, hey, what are these things? Well, I've told you, now you know. Okay, let's get inside the S1-XR GP and show you what that looks like. So, a lot of stitching, different panels, accents. It's cool looking. It looks racy. It feels like a high-end helmet should on the inside, moisture wicking, and all that sort of good stuff. I will say, in terms of the overall amount of padding, it is a little bit light. Now, that's not, like if you look at the bottom of a Shoei, it's got like twice as much low density padding, and it's just a little bit comfier on your head. This is kind of a different thing. This is a racing helmet, and it's just a little bit of a more raw fit and feel. It's not a bad thing, and it's very streetable still, but it's just a little bit different. This thing is compatible with comm systems though, so it does have speaker pockets, and you do have enough room to put the comm system of your choosing out here on the front, either adhesive or clip mount, okay? It's gonna come with the chin curtain, which you can remove. If you don't wanna run the chin curtain, you can just ditch that. If you wanna run it, go ahead. There is that vent system for those front vents, your shutter there, so that's pretty easy stuff. And then you're going to have hydration routing. That's what this is here, separate and on both sides from your emergency release cheek pad system. So hypoallergenic, removable, washable, hydro cool liner as they call it. Different cheek pads are available in different sizes to custom fit. If you're not sure, like this one is a stock medium, but we have different thicknesses. If you need adjustment, talk to the team. Underneath here is a multi-density EPS liner that has been tuned and is clearly up to the challenge to protect you as it's passing FIM, DOT, and EC 2203. We'll go ahead and remove the comfort liner. Again, you can replace these over the years once yours wears out. When you're removing a liner from a helmet, get real close to that tab here, the male part, and carefully leverage it out. Don't just yank on these, because you can bust out the female side that is embedded in the EPS, and then your helmet is toast. Don't do that. Okay, so they're not like bespoke, or sorry, purpose-built speaker pockets, but there is an ear relief, okay? So you can put that speaker in there. It's gonna be a little tighter than some of the helmets that actually have the full-blown speaker pockets. I hope I didn't misspeak earlier when I said that it could work with a comm system. It can, it just doesn't have a big deep speaker pocket. Ventilated, nice looking liner here, good place to be. The EPS foam is all finished in kind of this Alcantara style suede, really high-end look and feel. And then the inside, you see the EPS liner that is channeled like I mentioned to you before. 2-year warranty from the folks at Suomy, which is a year longer than, say, Alpine Stars or AGV, which give you a 1 year. So it's nice that Suomy does that. A lot of the other Italian companies are a little cheap with the warranty, if you ask me. There it is, the Suomy S1-XR GP, their new GP helmet. It is their top-end lid. It is light, it is track ready. It's got all that protection built in like we went over. If you'd like to order one, go over to speedaddicts.com, link in the description, or just come on down to the Superstore. We have them in the world's most epic helmet wall right here in Orange County. That's it for today. We'll see you next time to find out what's in the crate.